Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about life in DC.
But she ain't never seen the world of. She a wanderer, but she ain't never seen the world of.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Funmi-Layo. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like this video because it helps other people to see it. And make sure to subscribe because we got awesome content on this channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about life in DC. So I've been in DC for almost 2 years. Yeah, so almost 2 years now, a little bit over a year. So far, I've been liking it. Honestly, every time, before I moved here, I visited here a lot of times, and every time I came here, I just knew, I was like, after I graduated college, I was like, I want to live here. I want to live here. I just had this feeling of DC is where I'm supposed to be. DC, it was just, I can't explain it, but I know Will Smith, he talks about how certain places you have a certain affinity to, and he talks about his affinity with, or affinity, I don't know if the affinity was the word he used, but how he felt about Miami, how it just really agreed with his spirit, and how Jada feels about other places, and how just different people feel different things at different places. And personally for me, DC, it just feels right for me. So I ended up moving here, and I can say that I like it. It's pretty cool. It is expensive. I will say it is expensive. Rent can be kind of high. Ooh, y'all. Rent is high because I really do live in DC. A lot of people say they live in DC, but they live in like Arlington, Virginia, or which is very close. All of these places are close, or they'll live around the border. But I really live in DC, and I love it. I really love DC. The nightlife, let's start there. The nightlife is pretty dope. There's so many bars, so many clubs, you know, so many restaurants. There's just so much going on. Like DC how I think of it is, I feel like it is a slowed down New York, in the sense that there's so many different cultures. It's a melting pot of so many different cultures. It's like a global city, you know? First off, you know, obviously with, you know, the president being here, it's a lot of law and politics going on. So people are flying in from all over with that. We've got a bunch of embassies here. So it's a lot of different cultures, I believe, personally, here in DC. And just in general, it's just so much going on. So it brings for a very eclectic mix, and it's very just, I don't know, I really like DC, honestly. Even now that I actually live here, I'm more chill about it now, because I feel like when you are just fangirling over a city, when you're just visiting, it's not the same as when you actually live there. But I still really like DC. But anyways, back to the nightlife. Yeah, so the nightlife is dope. They've got a lot of different places for you to go to. You'll never get bored. There's like a lot of streets, not a lot of streets, but there are a couple of streets where it's just like you straight bar hopping and clubs. Like, you can have a lot of fun in this city. I would say so myself. I can vouch. It's a fun city for sure. There's a lot to do here in DC for sure. In general, I would just describe the city as like I feel like it's very professionally driven. I feel like everybody's very career. Not everybody, I guess it depends on who you're around, but a good amount of people in the main drive city, I feel like, is very career focused, in terms of like everybody's trying to move forward in whatever. Not everybody, but the people that I have encountered, they are trying to move forward in whatever position they're doing. It seems to be a lot of young professionals. There we go. I feel like this city has a lot of young professionals. There are a lot of like young professional happy hours and stuff like that. I feel like I've been to like maybe 1 or 2, or maybe I wanted to go and I didn't go, but I always get emails for that. You know, on Eventbrite, that's a great way to find out about things going on in the city. But yes, a lot of young professionals in this city, a lot of young people, a lot of, I think they call it expats or whatever, or explants, I don't know, where people from other cities are in here. Because you know, you can move to other cities and everybody was born there, grew up there, has their set group of friends and everything there. I feel like here there are people like that, But there's also a good amount of people who are coming in from all over, because there are a lot of job opportunities in this city. Because like I said, I feel like it's just such a global city. That's another thing, a lot of job opportunities here, I will say, in different fields. And especially if your interest is like healthcare or politics. I'm not too sure of the business side here in DC, but I will definitely say those two things. It's a lot of opportunities in the DMV in general. I wouldn't just say DC, but just in the DMV here, a lot of opportunities, I would say. It's great, I would say, in terms of accessibility within DC to different places using Metro. So the Metro is not too expensive. I want to say it's like $2.75 in the mornings to get places. It could be more, but I feel like that's a good average in the mornings. During the day, I think a good average is $2.25. I'm just giving you guys rough estimates. It's been a while. Obviously, you know, with what's going on right now, being in quarantine, it's been a while since I've ridden the Metro or anything like that. But you can really get around here with Metro. If you have a car, you can do that too. But well, yeah, you can do that too, but I imagine parking would be a hassle. But some people have cars. I know people who have cars, but I do also know a lot of people who just, you know, hop on the metro or call an Uber. Honestly, if you live in a good location or if you live by a metro, honestly, you can save so much money from getting a car by just hopping on the metro, walking different places and everything like that. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. So I do think it's a very accessible city in terms of transportation wise. I do really like that. That is something that's very important to me. I would also say that the city has, in terms of like being a black woman here, it seems to be a lot of black people in DC. I like that. It definitely seems to be a lot of black people. Even if there are not a lot of black people, at least the places I go to, it seems to be a lot of black people there. I like that there's just a good mix. And just in general, there's a good mix of different cultures, but seeing other people with your skin type around, I feel like DC is, if that's something you're considering, DC is definitely a good place to live at. It seems great, honestly. Not seems great, it is great so far. I'm still building community here. I'm still figuring all that out. But so far, what I have seen, I like. I can say in terms of what else could I speak to in terms of living in DC? Oh, so what I found interesting was that the grocery stores, they sell wine and stuff. I had never encountered that, but for the grocery stores to be selling wine, I was like, oh wow, that's nice. That's real nice, you know? One-stop shop, you feel me? But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a different thing that I noticed about here. That was pretty different. So I feel like in terms of like people and interactions, I feel like a lot of people they seem cool, networking friendly. In terms of, let's say, what can I say? Maybe I could speak to, can I speak to the artistic scene? I can't really speak too much to the artistic scene. I'm still getting in and like I said, still building community here and figuring things out.
I am involved in the artistic community. I completely forgot. I was just talking more so about spoken word, but I have really gotten involved in the photography scene here in DC, and so I've been like doing some modeling on the side. So just like some, amateur stuff, just collaborating with different photographers. I usually like to be behind the camera, but I've been practicing being in front of the camera. So that is something that I can say that I've experienced, and DC has a really good creative community for that. I can speak to that. So definitely something to keep in mind.
And I don't know if you know this, if you watch my other videos, you still might not know this actually. I love poetry, like I love spoken word, but I've only been to maybe 2 or 3 of those type of events here, which is so sad. I feel like I've just gotten caught up with everything. But yeah, I will say that they definitely do have those here, but I don't really go. But I plan to try to go to more once all this goes back. I don't even know what's going on right now. I don't know what our new normal will be, but they definitely do have those type of opportunities. What else could I speak to? I don't know. I think it's a good vibe here personally. I guess it depends on where you go, but it seems like a good vibe. There are different neighborhoods, like there's northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Like there are different types, different neighborhoods. There are different marketplaces. I think that this is a city where there is something for everybody. The more I stay here, and maybe if you guys want a part 2, the more I can think of things that like are bad about the city or things that are annoying. Oh well, one thing that I can tell you is that is annoying is sometimes the Ubers just be playing around, you know, like you can call, I think this is just Uber in general, but sometimes you'll call Uber to a certain pickup spot and you're at the spot where you're supposed to be picked up, but they'll be somewhere else and once you walk down, I don't know, that's one thing that really just gets on my nerves. But I gotta think of more things that I don't like about the city, but right now it seems pretty cool. Comment down below if you want a video just solely dedicated to like things I don't like about the city, or if there are any other topics about living in DC that you would like me to cover. But yeah, that's what I can say about the place now. And I will say also that the apartment spaces, they're smaller for the higher price too, because I already said how it's expensive, but living in an apartment, like the amount of space I have here versus where I used to live, you cannot compare, like, no. And I'm paying so much more money and the place didn't even come furnished. So you definitely, you're paying for location to be here. Honestly, it's probably smarter if you are thinking about coming to move to DC. I feel like it probably is smarter to live on the outskirts. Maybe that's something that I might end up doing as well, honestly. But if you live in the city, transportation accessible wise, like if you can live nearby, or at least like not too far from a metro station or a bus station, you know, you can do that. Because one thing I can say about DC is that everybody uses the metro. It seems to me like is rich, the poor, I don't know, although I wouldn't even know if they're rich and they're riding the metro, but it just seems like everybody uses the metro, honestly, or just uses Uber. So I wouldn't be worried about that. And I know a lot of people ride buses. I don't ride them too often, but every now and then I do. And they have certain free buses here too. Like they have certain free circulators to different areas of the town. Like they have a free one in the Union Station area. They have a free one in the Georgetown area, like going back and forth. And they have one down different streets, so they have different things to make it more accessible for people. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, that's my take on the town, the DC so far. Those are my thoughts. Comment down below questions that you have, specific questions, and I'll make another video following up. But I guess this is just to give you guys a taste of what my life is like living in DC. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.